Today we are making small batch cinnamon muffins. They are a fun twist on the traditional cinnamon roll. They have all the same flavors of a cinnamon roll, but there's no yeast involved and they only take 30 minutes to make. Taste. Hi, I'm Leanne from YourHomeBasedMom.com. Join me in the kitchen as we make small batch recipes with big taste. So we are making one of the most popular recipes here on my YouTube channel and on my blog, but we're making it in small batch form. Now, if you want the full-size version of my cinnamon roll muffins, you can click up there, but this recipe makes 4 muffins. All right, we are gonna start by preheating our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're gonna mix up our wet ingredients. And we are using 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Make sure to let it cool down just a little bit. Don't put it in hot or else it's gonna cook your egg and melt all your sugar. And then we're gonna use, is it 1 or 2 tablespoons of egg, trusty assistant? 1 tablespoon of beaten egg. Again, we're just using 1 tablespoon of beaten egg and not a whole egg. And so you can save the rest of this beaten egg for some of my other small batch recipes. That small batch giant cookie is a perfect way to use up extra egg. And you can also pop it into the freezer and freeze it for later on. And then we're gonna add in 1/3 of a cup of milk. I'm using 2%. You can use whatever is in your refrigerator. You could also, if you need, could use almond milk. We're just gonna mix that together and we'll be ready to add in our dry ingredients. So now we're gonna add in our dry ingredients and we are going to use 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And then a nice healthy pinch of some salt. And then we are gonna mix that all together. Now, these cinnamon roll muffins are perfect for people who don't like working with yeast because there's no yeast involved, or someone who may be allergic to yeast but wants to enjoy a cinnamon roll. Again, just stir until all your dry ingredients are just incorporated. If you over stir, especially these small batch recipes, you can end up with a really tough muffin. So just right until the dry ingredients, there's none showing. Now we are gonna mix up our cinnamon mixture, which we're going to add into this and sprinkle on top of the muffin. All right, so for our cinnamon filling, we are going to use 1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar. I have a tablespoon of melted butter, and then we are gonna put in a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, the other thing I love about these cinnamon roll muffins are that, you know, unlike a actual cinnamon roll, which I love me a good cinnamon roll, but they take a couple hours to make, or at least an hour if you're using my 1-hour cinnamon roll recipe, which you can find up there. These, you can have a nice, fresh, warm cinnamon roll muffin in under 30 minutes. So let's combine that all together. You should have a nice kind of a wet sand consistency. And then we are gonna take our muffin batter and we want to take half of this mixture. And then we are just going to gently fold it in. You don't want to totally incorporate it. You kind of want there to be streaks of cinnamon. Just kind of fold it in. All right, see? So you can see it's not all totally incorporated. And then we are ready to fill our muffin tin. Now I'm gonna use muffin liners because I just think it's easier to remove and to eat, but if you don't have any, go ahead and just spray your muffin tin with some cooking spray. That's what it's called. All right. We're gonna just take our scoop, and of course you're gonna fill each muffin tinner with 1/4 of what you've got in here, which is about 1/4 of a cup, which is the size of my scoop here. And if they don't look perfectly even, which mine don't right now, I think I was a little generous on the first one. I'm just gonna steal a little bit out of there and put it in there. So they're kind of all about the same. All right, then the rest of this cinnamon mixture we made, you're gonna just take it, just kind of crumble it a little bit, and we're gonna just sprinkle it over the top of our batter. And then these are gonna be ready to go into our oven for about how long? I think it's about, I don't know, I better check. Get my handy assistant here to check. 12 to 15 minutes. And again, until you're going to be able to touch the top of them and they're going to spring back. And that's how you're going to know that they're done. All right, into the oven they go. All right, while those cinnamon roll muffins are baking, we are going to mix together the glaze that we're going to drizzle over the top of it. And we're going to use 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. Going to use about 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to add in just enough milk to give us enough kind of drizzling consistency. So just start out with a little bit, especially with these small batch recipes, because if you get too much in, you end up having to add in a ton of more powdered sugar, and it kind of can be a little crazy. So just start out a few drops at a time until you get that consistency you want. Okay, that's it. See, just a nice, so you can see where it kind of flows. Not too thin, not too thick, just right. Our cinnamon roll muffins are out, and let me tell you, they smell as good as any cinnamon roll does. And we're gonna take that glaze that we mixed up. If it's been sitting for a few minutes, it may have thickened up a bit. Add just a drop or two of water into it to loosen it up. And then we're just gonna drizzle right over the top of our muffins. They're ready to eat. They are the perfect thing to enjoy along with a morning cup of tea or coffee or for dessert. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel by clicking down below, and make sure to check out all the other videos that I'm going to put right here for other small batch recipes. And enjoy.